It was an ordinary Thursday evening when I received a mysterious email from an old friend, Michael. The subject line simply read, "A weekend in Ravenshade." Intrigued, I opened the email to find a short message that sent a shiver down my spine. Dear Adrian, it has been too long since we last saw each other. I have discovered an intriguing town called Ravenshade, hidden away in the depths of the woods. Its history is as chilling as its name, and I believe a weekend getaway is in order. Meet me at the Oak Ridge train station this Friday at 6 p.m. I have booked us a room at the Raven's Rest Inn. Despite the cryptic tone, my excitement overpowered any apprehension. The mention of a hidden town and a reunion with an old friend fueled my curiosity. That Friday, I found myself at the deserted Oak Ridge train station, surrounded by dense woods that seemed to swallow the fading daylight. As the train pulled into the station, Michael appeared, his face hidden beneath the shadows of his hat. We exchanged greetings, and he spoke enthusiastically about Ravenshade, a place he had stumbled upon during one of his solitary explorations. The train journey was uneventful, but a sense of unease lingered in the air. As we approached Ravenshade, the train slowed down, revealing a town surrounded by towering trees, their branches intertwining to create a natural canopy. The station itself looked ancient, as if frozen in time. A cold wind rustled the leaves, and the distant howl of a lone wolf added an eerie soundtrack to our arrival. Michael led the way through the town's narrow streets, lined with weathered buildings that seemed to lean over us like silent sentinels. The few people we encountered had a distant gaze, as if aware of secrets that outsiders could never fathom. The Raven's Rest Inn, our destination, stood at the edge of town. Its facade, adorned with ivy and faded paint, exuded an old-world charm that masked an underlying sense of decay. The innkeeper, a gaunt figure with a raspy voice, handed us an antique key and welcomed us with a nod that felt more like a warning. As we ascended the creaking stairs to our room, I couldn't shake the feeling that this weekend in Ravenshade would be unlike any other getaway. Little did I know the chilling events that awaited us in the dark corners of this mysterious town. Our room at the Raven's Rest Inn was a testament to its storied past. The heavy wooden door creaked open, revealing a dimly lit space adorned with antique furniture that seemed frozen in time. Faded floral wallpaper clung desperately to the walls, and the air was thick with the scent of aged wood and dust. The inn's unsettling ambience became apparent as we settled in. Shadows danced along the walls, distorted by the flickering light of the antique lamps. The furniture seemed to carry the weight of untold stories, and the floor beneath our feet groaned with each step, as if reluctant to reveal the secrets it held. That night, as I lay in bed, an unsettling stillness enveloped the room. The silence was broken only by the occasional creaks and moans of the old building. A draft whispered through the cracks, creating an eerie symphony that resonated with the town's mysterious aura. As the clock struck midnight, I was startled awake by the sound of distant whispers. At first, I dismissed it as the wind playing tricks on my ears. However, the whispers persisted, growing louder and more insistent. It was as if unseen voices sought to communicate from the shadows. I glanced at Michael, who appeared undisturbed by the nocturnal disturbance. Hesitant, I stepped out into the hallway, the floorboards protesting beneath my weight. The whispers seemed to lead me towards the stairs, their source elusive yet undeniable. Descending to the lobby, the innkeeper's hollow eyes followed my every move. I hesitated but couldn't resist the urge to explore further. The whispers guided me to a forgotten corner, where a faded photograph caught my attention. It depicted a group of somber faces, their eyes hauntingly familiar, as if they were watching from the past. I returned to my room, the whispers now replaced by an unsettling silence. Sleep eluded me as the weight of the inn's history pressed upon my senses. Little did I know that the Raven's Rest Inn held more than just memories. It seemed to be a living entity, harboring secrets that transcended the boundaries of time. The following morning, Michael and I exchanged uneasy glances over breakfast, both sensing that our weekend in Ravenshade had taken an unexpected turn. As we prepared to explore the town, the inn's lingering presence left an indelible mark on our minds, foreshadowing the horrors yet to unfold. With the unsettling atmosphere of the Raven's Rest and still lingering, Michael and I ventured into the heart of Ravenshade. The town, draped in an early morning mist, presented a facade of normalcy, but an underlying eeriness clung to every corner. As we strolled down the cobbled streets, we couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The townspeople, with their hollow stares and muttered conversations, seemed to share a collective secret. It was as if the very essence of Ravenshade had seeped into their beings, leaving them marked by an unseen force. Our curiosity led us to an abandoned mansion rumored to be cursed. Locals whispered about a family that had mysteriously vanished without a trace, leaving the mansion in a perpetual state of abandonment. The exterior, covered in ivy and surrounded by an overgrown garden, conveyed an unsettling beauty. Upon entering, the air grew dense with the weight of forgotten memories. Dust particles danced in the dim light that filtered through cracked windows. Each creaking floorboard echoed with a sense of desolation, as if the mansion itself mourned the tragedy that had unfolded within its walls. As we explored the upper floors, we stumbled upon a room frozen in time. Faded wallpaper adorned with delicate patterns, a child's forgotten toy, and a dusty crib told a haunting story of a life interrupted. It was said that on moonlit nights, the sound of a lullaby could be heard, echoing through the abandoned halls, a chilling reminder of the family that once called this place home. Descending to the main hall, we encountered a faded portrait of the vanished family. Their eyes, frozen in a haunting gaze, seemed to follow our every move. The townspeople's reluctance to discuss the mansion's history only fueled our determination to uncover the truth. As we left the mansion, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over Ravenshade. The once vibrant town now felt like a ghostly apparition, frozen in time and haunted by the echoes of its past. Unbeknownst to us, the spectral presence of Ravenshade had begun to weave its tendrils into our reality, setting the stage for a series of chilling events that would test the limits of our sanity. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a shadow over Ravenshade as Michael and I returned from our exploration of the abandoned mansion. The townspeople continued their hushed conversations, their eyes betraying a shared knowledge that remained elusive to us. As night descended, Michael suggested we attend a local gathering rumored to be a mystical midnight ritual. Guided by the flickering glow of lanterns, we followed a narrow path into the heart of the dense woods surrounding Ravenshade. The air grew colder, and the distant hoot of an owl echoed through the trees. The path seemed to wind endlessly, creating a sense of disorientation that heightened the mystique of our surroundings. Upon reaching a clearing, we discovered a group of cloaked figures encircling a flickering fire. The air buzzed with anticipation, and the rhythmic beat of a distant drum reverberated through the stillness. As we approached, the figures fell silent, acknowledging our presence with a collective gaze that sent shivers down our spines. The fire's dancing flames cast eerie shadows on the hooded faces, concealing their identities. The leader, distinguishable by a weathered staff adorned with mystical symbols, began a haunting chant that resonated with the ancient energy of the woods. The words, incomprehensible yet laden with power, seemed to transcend the boundaries of time. As the ritual progressed, the flames leaped higher, casting an otherworldly glow that illuminated the faces of the hooded figures. Their eyes gleamed with an intensity that hinted at secrets beyond mortal understanding. Fear gripped me, and I exchanged a nervous glance with Michael, who appeared equally unnerved. Suddenly, the flames erupted, reaching a height that seemed to defy the natural order. The hooded figures raised their hands in unison, their chants growing louder and more urgent. It was as if they were channeling an ancient force, awakening something dormant in the heart of the woods. In that moment, a surge of primal energy enveloped us. Shadows danced on the periphery of the clearing, and whispers echoed through the trees. Panic seized us, and we fled from the ritual site, guided only by the flickering lanterns that marked our path back to Ravenshade. That night, as I lay in bed at the Raven's Rest Inn, the images of the ritual haunted my dreams. The ancient forces we had witnessed lingered, leaving an indelible mark on our psyches. Little did we know that our encounter with the midnight ritual had opened a door to a realm beyond our comprehension, setting the stage for the true horror that awaited us in Ravenshade. The following day in Ravenshade was marked by an oppressive silence that seemed to echo the aftermath of the midnight ritual. Michael and I, still grappling with the events of the previous night, decided to investigate further. Our destination was the abandoned mansion, the epicenter of the town's supernatural mystery. To our bewilderment, as we retraced our steps through the cobbled streets, we discovered that the mansion had vanished without a trace. The once overgrown garden now stood bare, and where the mansion had once loomed, there was only an empty space, as if it had been erased from existence. Confusion and disbelief clouded our minds as we sought answers from the townspeople. Their vacant stares offered no solace, and when questioned about the vanished mansion, they responded with a chilling silence. It was as if Ravenshade itself had conspired to erase any evidence of the cursed dwelling. Determined to uncover the truth, Michael and I delved into the town's history, poring over old records and speaking to anyone willing to share their knowledge. The more we uncovered, the darker the secrets of Ravenshade became. Tales of disappearances, ancient rituals, and a malevolent force that preyed on the town's inhabitants wove a tapestry of horror that stretched back centuries. As we delved deeper, a sense of urgency gripped us. Ravenshade, it seemed, resisted our attempts to unravel its mysteries. The once charming town now revealed itself as a labyrinth of shadows, concealing an unspeakable truth that eluded our understanding. On our final night in Ravenshade, a strange restlessness settled over the town. The air crackled with an unnatural energy, and the moon cast an eerie glow over the cobbled streets. Michael and I, determined to confront the darkness that gripped Ravenshade, returned to the site of the vanished mansion. As we stood in the empty space that once housed the cursed dwelling, a cold wind whispered through the trees. Shadows flickered, and a distant howl echoed in the distance. The very fabric of reality seemed to waver, as if Ravenshade itself held its breath, waiting for an inevitable reckoning. In that moment, the truth unfolded before our eyes, a vanishing act orchestrated by forces beyond our understanding. Ravenshade, a town steeped in darkness, had chosen to conceal its secrets, leaving us with a lingering sense of unease. As we left the town behind, the weight of its mysteries clung to our memories, a chilling reminder that some enigmas are meant to remain buried in the shadows of the past.